which is the real issue at hand. So news came out that Manny Pacquiao versus Triple G is in works, which that's definitely them reaching, because Manny Pacquiao is not going to move up to 160 to fight Triple G, and Triple G won't even move down to 154 to fight Pacquiao. Like I said, they always throw his name in the craziest names in the game, then select the most intelligent pick that best suit the moment. Pacquiao really been strategic throughout his career, especially when he moved up to 147. You know, he always been pretty selective. However, let Max Kellerman tell it, he will throw out the narrative that Pacquiao fight the best. Mayweather, on the other hand, he a businessman, according to Max Kellerman, right? But we go down history, Pacquiao fought Cotto at a catch weight. He fought Sugar Shane Mosley after Sugar Shane Mosley got schooled by Floyd Mayweather and had a draw with his mandatory, the fight after that. Then Pacquiao was like, you know what, I'm going to fight Sugar Shane Mosley now. It was still a good fight, you know, because Pacquiao was pretty much the smaller guy. But at the end of the day, or at least the night, he did not fight Sugar Shane Mosley when Sugar Shane Mosley knocked out Margarito. And according to Freddie Roach, he told Sugar Shane Mosley, hey, we fighting you at a catch weight, or we not fighting you at all. And when Sugar Shane Mosley told him, y'all fought Oscar De La Hoya at 147, Freddie Roach simply responded by saying, you not Oscar De La Hoya, you Sugar Shane. So what I'm pretty much saying, Mayweather fought Sugar Shane Mosley after he knocked out Margarito, but they won't tell you that. And I could go on and on and on from the Margarito catchweight at 150 after Margarito got knocked out by Sugar Shane. And Margarito was coming off a knockout loss and a close fight with an unknown fighter. And then Pacquiao decides to fight him at a catchweight for a strap at 154. However, the fight was at a catchweight at 150. So, like I said, this is nothing new with Ricky Hatton. He did it. Floyd Mayweather beat Ricky Hatton when he was undefeated. Pacquiao fought Ricky Hatton when Ricky Hatton blew up in weight. Even Oscar De La Hoya, he drained Oscar De La Hoya down. But for that fight in particular, Pacquiao was moving up to weight division. So you could let him slide with that, right? But like I said, throughout history, you know, he was pretty much fighting Floyd Mayweather leftovers. And when Floyd Mayweather offered him a fight, he said, absolutely not. I'd rather fight you without taking a test. I'm scared of needles, even though he had tattoos. I'm ripping Pacquiao today, but I'm just laying out the truth since I'm sitting next to the truth. So that being said, let them tell it. Old media and Max Kellerman and all the above, they will tell you Manny Pacquiao fought the best. The narrative out there is always Pacquiao fight the best. According to Max Kellerman, Mayweather is a businessman, but Manny Pacquiao fight the best, which that's completely false. Facts say otherwise. To Max Kellerman, from all the things that matter, your opinion did not make it because it's a false opinion. Facts trump opinions any given day of the week. No, you can't just be on TV lying to the public when you are informed on the truth. See, it's one thing if Max Kellerman didn't know any better. It's one thing if Max Kellerman was pretty much like Stephen A. Smith, where he's a color analyst and he doesn't really know much about boxing. But when Max Kellerman is supposed to be an expert and he stays deceiving the public, lying to the public, when he knows the truth, that's when we have an issue. And that's when I gotta hold you accountable. Because, see, y'all hold me accountable. Y'all could call in as we speak. The number is in the description box. You know, like I told y'all, on Split Decision, AKHi is like Iron Mike, the most feared. Anybody can get it on Split Decision. So, hold me accountable to what I say. But they so afraid to call in. I mean, AKHi like 472 debates with 472 knockouts. I'm like the Mayweather of debating. And nobody wanted to debunk what I have to say or put the blemish on my record on my own platform. On the other hand, Max Kellerman is sitting very comfortable where he's at because nobody gets to call him in. Nobody gets to expose him on TV. So I have to hold him accountable to what he says because, like I said, since he's an expert, then I got to hold you accountable. Because not too long ago, Max said Pacquiao is pound for pound, better than Mayweather. He's greater than Mayweather when it comes to pound for pound. Yes, Mayweather beat him, but according to Max, Mayweather is not better than Pacquiao, even though he beat him. So why did they fight? If we wanted them to fight for the fight of the decade to decide who's the better fighter, why they fought if we still trying to debate who's the better fighter? That absolutely don't make any sense. So how he tried to justify that is by claiming, hey, listen, man, Pacquiao moved up so many weight classes. He moved up more weight classes than Mayweather. He also added that Manny Pacquiao had less reach and less height than Mayweather. So when they fought, of course Mayweather was supposed to get the best of him because Mayweather is a boxer. He's more intelligent. He was able to keep him in the outside. So if the roles are reversed, can Mayweather beat Pacquiao if Pacquiao is bigger than him as far as his reach and height? Because they both were small for a welterweight. So they're around the same weight. He was just talking about reach and height wise, right? So if we go on by that logic, Mike Tyson is the greatest fighter of all time because literally Mike Tyson fought every single opponent of his and he pretty much had the height and reach disadvantage. So is Mike Tyson the greatest of all time? Absolutely not. Muhammad Ali is the greatest. TBE arguably the greatest. More so than Pacquiao. Why? Because they have the better record. Because they prove themselves. You got to work with your attributes and make your disadvantages your advantages. So for Max Kellerman to say such a wild claim where pretty much that's a casual talk point, not an expert, that's where I got to hold him accountable. Because if you claim that, oh man, Manny Pacquiao, if he had more reach and height than Mayweather, he would have beat him, then how did Pacquiao win most of his fights? His opponents pretty much had the height advantage on Pacquiao. Throughout his career, they had their weight advantage on Pacquiao. You always have to find a way to win. Like I said, you got to make your disadvantages your advantages. In the sport of boxing, I got to work with my attributes. For example, Gamboa at 126, he was pretty short. Prince Nassim Hamed, he was pretty short for a featherweight. And they still did their thing. So, like I said, Max Kellerman will make a wild claim and say, you know, it's debatable. He even said, man, Max Kellerman even said Manny Pacquiao is arguably the greatest. That's a strong argument, and you could debate it that Pacquiao is the greatest. How? How can you debate Manny Pacquiao is the greatest? Because he lost two of his most significant fights of his career. Manny Pacquiao lost by KO. He got slept by Marquez in a quadrilogy. He's not even a trilogy, right? And you telling me this man is the greatest of all time and you could argue that he's the greatest? How can you argue he's the greatest when Marquez put him to sleep? I couldn't believe it. I was watching TV for nearly like 2 hours after that, heartbroken that my man Pacquiao lost the fight. I was devastated. I could not believe it, right? But Max Kellerman want to tell me Pacquiao the greatest. Then he fights Floyd Mayweather, the fight that everybody been starving for, slavering for, and what happens? Mayweather schools him easy, 10 rounds to 2. If we being generous to Pacquiao, we give him 3 rounds. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be even more generous. I'm gonna give him 4 rounds. He lost with ease to Mayweather. You know how they tried to defend that talk point? Oh, the fight was easy, boring. Max Kellerman say, oh, you want to see a real competitive fight? Canelo versus Kirkland was that. When that was a cherry pick. When he avoided Jermell Charlo in order to fight Kirkland, who's coming off a 1.5-year layoff and got knocked out by a fighter with 6 knockouts. In the meantime, Jermell Charlo got released out of his contract because Golden Boy could not, I believe at the time, didn't fulfill the contract because they said on the contract when they signed him, they're going to give him a Canelo Alvarez fight. And they did not deliver because Canelo said absolutely not and fought Kirkland instead in Dallas, where Jermell Charlo is from. But Max Kellerman want to say that's the fight that's worth the money, but Mayweather versus Pacquiao was boring. It's boring to you because your fighter lost. It was born on your end. It was born from your side view. Shit, I was cheering the whole time. It was entertaining to me. I won some money that night. But it was not entertaining to you because your fighter was getting beat. If Pacquiao beat Mayweather, they would not complain and say the fight was boring. Nobody said the fight was boring during the fight. I mean, the commentators, even the fans. Every time Pacquiao had a rally, they were going crazy. They were going nuts. But Max Kellerman got the audacity to say the fight was boring. Or even Teddy Ellis and all old media. And Pacquiao after the fight talking about, I broke my shoulder. He was running, this and that. When he was standing in front of you the whole fight. Even if he was running, like they want to talk about. This is the sport of boxing. Hit and don't get hit. You could debunk it so many ways. I mean, Muhammad Ali known for dancing in the ring, fly like a butterfly and sting like a bee. So, if Pacquiao was preparing for Floyd Mayweather throughout the fight, he was preparing to cut off the ring. He knew Mayweather was going to box. And then after the fight, the first thing he have to say is, oh, he was running. Pacquiao didn't want to face his defeat because of all the pressure that was behind him, thanks to his fans that he let down. So, y'all put more pressure on the Pac-Man. Now, Errol Spence trying to finish him. But all I'm pretty much saying is give credit where credit is due. Floyd Mayweather is definitely, arguably TBE because he's 50-0. They don't got the green print to money. If they do, everybody be rich. If they do, Mayweather will not be undefeated. On the other hand, Manny Pacquiao lost the two most significant fights of his career. The Marquez and the Floyd Mayweather fight. In a devastated fashion in one of them, and an embarrassing fashion in the other, where Mayweather made him look pretty ordinary. So, how can Max Kellerman claim he arguably the greatest? He pound for pound better than Mayweather when he lost to Mayweather. Like I said, from all the things that matter, Max Kellerman, your opinion did not make it because facts trump your opinion. You're speaking out of emotion, not logic. Apparently, you have an agenda. AKHi does not, because I'll call it down the line just to make it clear. Pacquiao, again, is top 10 to top 20, one of my favorite fighters of all time. Now, for a casual, that's not much, but for a hardcore, y'all know that's a lot because there's so many fighters in history, from Errol to Floyd to Ali to Tyson to Prince to Hagler, Hearn, and the list goes on and on and on to Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Robertson. So, to make the top 10 or the top 20 of AKHi list, I'm pretty much a hardcore fan of yours. But I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to let my emotions speak for me. The difference between AKHi and Max Kellerman, I'd rather be hated for telling the truth than loved for telling a lie. That's pretty much it. Split Decision episode 39 is over with. Subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't listen to these decafs, aka dumb casual ass fans / old media that don't know ish about boxing. Like I said, all these decafs wizards, and all these emotional fans, what matters is what counts, and what AKHi says is the truth. So that's what counts and matters at the end of the day, or at least the night. So when the truth is spoken, the other side is nothing but a lie. Split decision. There's two sides to every story. When there's a fight coming up, of course, you might feel like this fighter could win. I might feel like another fighter gonna win, right? Everybody entitled to their own opinion. But when the facts are laid out on a certain matter, like a fighter cheated, for example, such as Jimenez, and the WBC don't want to suspend her, that's an issue. Because this is no longer opinion versus opinion. This is facts versus opinion. Facts trump any opinion. So like I said, come correct when you see AKHi, because AKHi will fact check you, because I got my facts in my pocket. Like I said, this strap right here is realer than a whole lot of fighters with French fries titles. So with that being said, subscribe below, click on the notification bell, and I appreciate all my AKHis. You already know, 473, 74 KOs. I can't even keep up. Keep me up with my record, because you already know I'm bodying decafs. KO, I know it's split decision, but I'm straight up knocking these decafs out. And
they call me the problem, but you could call me the can man.
I still want all the smoke.
Africans,
and I still can't get none.
Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can.
You don't know shit.
Y'all just don't. Like, y'all really don't.
You better not duck
So
me,
quit
son.
ducking.
You better not duck me, son.
All these decafs. To tell me why you haven't been calling in. How did I do all these decafs? Let the public know.
Hey, you've been knocking them out, AKHi, but you didn't knock me out.
Come on.
The truth
Oh, so
on
you an exception? Come on, T-Tone. You
yeah,
you've been a
man.
no-show.
Hey,
You've been a no-show.
I'm not lying.
Yeah, I mean, you capping. If I'm being politically correct, I don't want to call you a liar, but if you say you the truth, you got to speak some facts. That's all I'm saying. But T-Tone, you know we miss you out here. Why you haven't called in? Why you been a no-show? That's what we want to know.
The other times I seen you, you know there was nothing to argue about.
Man,
And,
really? So you ain't been disagreeing with anything I've been saying?
Hey, about Canelo, yeah, and about Chavez,
so
yeah, hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Disagreeing with you.
That's what I'm saying.